is now open for Gen.G. Although I also wouldn't be surprised if they wait a little bit longer. He's looking Zeri, and then you know we'll get something else. But no, Gen.G jumping on the Sivir hype train here, also weakening a possible Sivir pick or Zeri pick here rather from Damokia on their own B2 B3, while still securing Ruler, a carry that right now is looking extremely strong, as well as getting Peanut the Wukong, which he has loved the creative pathing possibilities with Wukong a lot.
Yeah.
Because it means you don't actually have to flash over the Dragon Wall to gank bot lane. You can just W.
He's a guy that makes the best use of it as well. Out of everybody right now in the LCK, he is just providing us with some really unique picks. He's not just going in full clearing or doing a basic path. Now, the Poppy is available. It was hovered in the past. This was kind of part of the reason why you wouldn't pick Wukong, but Wukong, a lot of the teams are just saying, no, Wukong's strong enough. We are going to pick it anyway. We don't care about Poppy anymore. Zeri seemed very obvious.
Yeah.
So that one gets locked in here.
And the Alistair lock-in now will guarantee that you have a pick that's quite strong against, I think, both the picks from Gen.G. Alternatively, you pick up the Trundle here, which is good into the Wukong, but at times can feel a little lackluster.
You know what Trundle's real job is?
Is press E so Zeri can
yes.
extendo beam. I know where you're going.
What is your what is my purpose? It is to extend the extendo beams.
Yeah.
As Canyon looks down at his hands in shame. Yeah, I mean, Canyon hasn't really been in full form nowadays, and his Trundle has been better than most, so I don't mind it. And Azir is the choice, so no Ahri this time around.
Going to mean that the most successful counter pick that we've seen for the Sivir not going to be available here. Now for Lehens, this is just a challenge because he loves diving deep into the pool of supports that he's allowed to play. And wondering if we'll see a Lulu ban here. I personally haven't been the biggest fan of the Lulu, but it has been combined with the Zeri many a time because of the innate synergies between the two. Zeri, of course, making great use of the shielding that Lulu provides. Additional speed ups, but it will be the Leona instead. So we're really hamstringing Bible's champion pool here. He has been the most notable on engaged supports, and obviously we've seen that the popularity of Nautilus has sharply dropped over the last couple of patches. And Gen.G can just lock that themselves in here on R4.
Whereas Leona has gone through the roof, right? And is currently like 7-1 in the last week. And those are the only games that it was played, really. So,
well, especially with a Renata ban for Gen.G, feels like a no-brainer. But maybe Dom was like, no, we know you're gonna just pick Rakan, Lehens. You're not afraid, and that seems like a Nautilus Rakan handshake is kind of inevitable here. Which we've seen that matchup go both ways. I feel like it tilts slightly toward the Nautilus if the Nautilus is very decisive. I think Carriao gave us some really good examples of how that matchup can feel very sad for the Rakan. But overall, Gen.G, it's a Gen.G comp, right? Like, there's so much team fighting power here, and they don't really need additional power to win fights, but they'll take it anyway. Don't know what the top laner is going to be just yet for them, as Nogari goes back to one of his comfort picks in the Sejuani.
For a second, I thought you were saying maybe the Trundle would get flexed into the top side with Sejuani bot, but then I realized that you were talking about no top lane selected for Gen.G just yet.
Yeah.
So yes, blind Sejuani, the choice here. The Lulu is the option, so no engaged support for Bible. He'll just be there to press polymorph and make Zeri wild growth.
Yeah, and into the Sejuani, the Gwen will be picked. I like the Lulu a lot more than the Sejuani is there. We've seen compositions that only run a Lulu and like a Trundle, just not really ever find the enemy when they need to. Now into the Gen.G comp, they'll engage on you for sure. Don't know when, don't know how, but it's definitely happening. And it's something that can really backfire if, again, it's not Gen.G piloting. This Gwen pick is a pick that has slightly dropped in prio. I think in an R5 situation, you're still going to be happy to take it. Taking it into a tank is always going to feel very strong. And overall, I think we have two great team comps here. I think you have a Sejuani with a lot of melee power on the top half of the map. Again, both Silas Trundle utilizing the permafrost very well for the 2v2s, the 3v3s. But when it comes to the 5v5, until you hit that critical mass of Zeri, Gen.G are looking mighty strong.
Yeah, could absolutely be the case here.
Wow.
That is a very nice Stom on
That's
Kia sign.
Gorgeous. Great contrast.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Just appreciating.
No, again. Yeah, with different lighting this time.
Whoa.
Cool.
We're hoping that Skitty picks up the pog here. Of course, that is Gen.G's Chovy. She says, please, Gen.G, let's go home early.
Well, you might be in for a little bit of luck on that one, because recently, that's what they've been doing.
Yeah, has been a bit of a steamboater here from the side of Gen.G as you see their comp. We'll see if they can do it here from early to late once again. Or will Delman Kia put on a show and actually challenge them this time around? Let's hop onto the Rift for game number 1. And off we go onto the Rift once again.
And you knew something was wrong as Lahan's grand entrance is over the wall, but will get spotted out, so not going to be too worried there. And it was actually you who pointed this out to me, Veldis, is again, Doctum has gone for the Ghost. I've been loving this summoner onto the in the Zeri Sivir matchup. As it helps you, both these champions, honestly, so much in terms of team fighting prowess, but also every single lane is cold start because neither team is really expecting to ever do anything in a 2v2. So might as well go for a summoner that in team fights provides insane value and isn't even bad in lane, just, you know, not as high impact as heal. But if you don't get all in, then
yeah,
who cares?
Or if you don't even expect to take heavy trades as well. You know?
Yeah, just not gonna have anything happen is the expectation here. And looking at the top side of the map where I expect most of the action to take place, unless we will see some really early focus towards the bot side, which of course is possible. Pina in particular has been extremely active and has been very, very creative with his jungle pathing throughout the entirety of the split.
Yeah.
So many swap-ups, invades, flashes over dragon walls to make sure that he's not spotted by wards or spotted too late. All been super exciting. As yeah, unsurprisingly, Doctum on Zeri good, Showmaker on Silas also good.
Yeah.
No real shockers there, I'd say.
Also, Bible's first pick on Lulu.
Yeah.
It's also, I believe, his 3rd game.
It is
in the LCK.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. First pick for Doran on Gwen. That's actually surprising.
It is, yeah. Hasn't played it in summer. And the power of Gen.G's composition in terms of damage is also off. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. We'll talk about the mid. Yeah, talk about the mid matchup in a little bit because overall, if you look at the 2v2s and the 3v3s, the initial burst from Damwon in any given situation on top side is insane. It's really when you get post 6 and the CC chains become available where Peanut can go for a big Cyclone and Chovy can assist him with the Emperor's Divide, where I think that the edge for Gen.G starts to be a little bit more prevalent and they can actually match. Early on though, I expect them to just play very defensively and wait until they hit at the very least 6, because after that I think that they'll be more than happy to take fights. And I base that on them taking every fight all the time in any game state. And win.
They do that a lot. And Peanut, speaking of which, he has been pretty big on going for early plays. You mentioned in the bottom side, but nowadays, in the span of a week, it seems like we've shifted focus to the top lane. It just hasn't really been about the bottom side, especially with a lot of Zeri handshakes that we've seen. And besides that, it's Aphelios Jinx. So
yeah.
Just a lot of matchups where you're not going to find too much action. There has been some Kalista Amumu. We even saw that earlier in Kalista other stuff. And when that happens, of course, it's a little bit different. But Peanut still here in the top side. No mana for Nuggery. Might have enough for one charge, but
should be fine here. Minions are all focused, so Wave's going to shove into him. So doesn't need to walk up here. Can definitely play it safe. Doran is trying to present himself. Hasty trade, but he's not going to take the bait. And Peanut did get double scuttled here. Is going to be a little bit behind in terms of the overall clear. Coming back with a Sheen, but we'll have a window on the map where Canyon is still and currently doing his scrubs. Gonna back and then continue his clear on the top side of the map. But should hit 6 earlier as a result of this early XP lead he was able to get. Might help out with a possible Drake take or a Herald setup down the line.
Yeah. So this mid matchup, Azir has not won yet, but Chovy has, I don't believe, played into Sylas as far as I can remember him playing Azir. He's had his fair share of extremely dominant Sylas and Ahri games, but he has played a bunch of Azir on the side, and I feel like he is actually one of the players that is finding success with the Azir. He is currently 7-0
so
on the Azir in this season.
Cool. It's also as you pointed out. There are so many champions where it's like 6-game loss streak, and the one win is Chovy or Peanut or Ruler, and you're like, well, that hardly seems fair, does it? I want to highlight some of the records that Gen.G has able to set here, because we have a paper and it's full of them. Because as it turns out, with how dominant Gen.G has been, they have the chance of crushing a bunch of records. So going from top to bottom, first and foremost, currently, there is a 16-game win streak. So this is not matches, but this is just them being
games.
Yeah, they got 8 2-0s in a row.
Yes.
And the current record holder is, of course, 2015 Summer SKT with a 70-game win streak. So if they 2-0 here, they break the longest standing game streak.
Yeah.
Right? They'll hit 18. So that's record broken 1. Then secondly, there is the possibility for the highest differential in a single round. So that's just a round robin, which that's cool, but that one is it's nice. I think it's the 1+1. It's the bonus deal. Like, you're happy you're getting it.
Yeah.
But then the biggie is, of course, the highest differential, which has been stuck
in a season
on in a single split, which has been stuck on +29. And the teams that hit that were T1 in spring, obviously, and then 2020 summer Dom1, and 2015 summer SKT.
Yes.
And there is a chance for Gen.G to top this, as long as they don't drop more than 2 games in their remaining couple of series.
Yeah, they already have +26, right?
Yeah.
So they they just need to have a +3 game differential to tie it, and then of course +4 to win it, which is where you find the 4-2 record for their potential. Actually, that would only be 2 series. So.
And here we see Canyon actually using his early XP lead, as well as the fact that his bot lane was able to get prio for a very nice early break.
Action! Crazy!
Wild!
I do think that Gen.G with Sivir and Gwen and Azir are kind of like, well, we don't have to dive anyone.
It's a fun scaling talk, because you present me that, and I'm like, oh, that's... And then I look at the other end, I'm like, that's also kind of insane, because you have...
Zeri.
Well, and Sylas.
Yes.
And it's not like Sejuani is...
Zeri.
Yeah.
Zeri counts as like 4 scaling champions.
It's really cool.
I'm a little
all over
salty.
again.
Yeah.
For you, isn't it? Watch here. Very strong 3v3 available here for Dom1 Kia if they can utilize the lockdown that they have.
Gen.G are kind of playing with the minds of Dom1. They're like, are we going to do it or are we not? And they're not actually. Just going to pull it out of the pit here. Don't have to overcommit to that one.
Yeah.
Things are going well in top and mid, and Peanut's keeping up in jungle. And actually, they have denied all vision in the pit, so they just walk away and then they return.
Yeah, with Lahens showing up and Dom1 Kia choosing not to rotate, it now becomes a question of what can they get on bot side. They're clearly not opting into this, which I think is defendable, because if there is a champion that loves the early plates and is really good at getting them, is definitely Zeri. That is one already. And Eye of the Herald now picked up for Peanut. I expect with Lahens rotating down early that it's still going to be a favorable gold trade for Damwon as only a single, or for Gen.G rather, because only a single plate was taken. And as a result, Gen.G didn't really lose anything on the map. Giving up a plate is, you know, yeah, they got Drake.
Yeah. We're just using needles now to clear waves to get a good back in. That's where we're at in this one. I did, however, I did see Chovy miss 1 CS.
Riveting.
Yeah, so get your -1s out there in the chat. That's going to be some good action for us at this moment in time because, well, not much else is happening.
It's a rare occasion as well. Look at that. He doesn't even hit 100 pre-10.
Peanut finds a boar. Actually a piggy in this case, as Peanut is on the chase now. Second Cyclone comes in. And guess what? No flash for Nuggery. So this is just going to be Nuggery face-checking a brush that had a very secret monkey in it. And Peanut says thank you for first blood.
Very unfortunate there for Nuggery. Not able to get out alive, even unassisted.
Oh.
And as a result, Chovy just scaring Showmaker a little bit. Not really getting anything else done. And the counterplay on bot side, not really leading to anything. And this is, I think, one of the powers that the Sivir really does have over champions like the Zeri in situations like this, is that cross-mapping into a Sivir due to her innate wave clear and the safety with Spell Shield is just really, really rough. And it really frees up the rest of the map and allows Gen.G to Peanut and Show, go for that play, take a solo kill, and no cross-map available. And this has been such a consistent feat for Gen.G that they've always been able to find cross maps while denying their opponents. And as we say that, here we go again. You're always shoved in.
And we do have a bit of a trade in the top side. You'll note no needles just yet. So Doran's just going to safely ghost away. That is the ghost down, but at the end of the day, his team is getting a huge win in the mid lane because of that Rift Herald's play. A lot of plates going there into Peanut and Chovy.
Oh, Peanut's
still going on, but of course, as you mentioned, Peanut is making his way to the top side. Nuggery is trying to burst him down, and he will get him within the mist, and then go down. He does deny a bunch of CS, but Peanut will be here to pick these up.
And meanwhile, on bot side, Ruler forced to use his heal, but yeah, it's a summoner. Meanwhile, in mid lane,
First turret blood at 12 minutes is going to go over to Chovy and Lahens. And Ruler's just here clearing waves and saying, well, let me get some health back as well and throw out an emote because that's the fun that he's going to be having at this point in time. We'll get the potential Ruler versus Duck Dom moments later on in team fights, but for now, we're clearing waves. And as you mentioned, you know, just trading a big objective elsewhere on the map.
탑에 최고라면 볼게.
For Gen.G.
아니, 나 그냥 먼저 들어가 볼게.
He's already setting up for this potential play.
나 ER 돼.
ice cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Nuggery, I was initially wondering whether he didn't have the mana available to ult, but with the flash available for Wukong as well, Shumi knew that he was dead regardless. As here, dying to the turret is better, I guess, than giving Peanut an assist. It's still a favorable trade, even though it's one that looks rather silly. As while all of that was happening, of course, Gen.G takes themselves a turret Hextech. Rift going to hit the map. I love Hextech Rift, one of my faves.
Yeah, I mean, especially with Sivir versus Zeri, if either of them get the soul, it's going to be pretty insane. Not to mention the Azir. Just having the range to be able to proc that soul is always going to be really fantastic. So, going to be looking towards those. Obviously, the Hextech Drake buffs are going to be pretty nice as well, as Duckdom has been getting to work down here on this bottom turret. Looks like he is nearing getting a 4th turret plate. Very close there at the end, but has not quite picked up that 4th plate.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be able to now, unfortunately, as the wave clear and Lahens being here should be enough of a threat for them to keep it safe, as there we see more than enough clear, and that final plate is going to be denied to Dogdom not even able to pick that one up. Still, of course, in a great spot itemization-wise, but it really just highlights the issue that any team has playing against Gen.G, which is that any slight mistake that you make in where you position your players on the map gets punished, as I'm pretty sure nobody's...
Oh, no. Well, he's in a bit of trouble here. And again, the flashless Sejuani just can't get away from this, does not have vision. And this is the power of Wukong as well. This is why we see it here. It can find unique paths through vision. In this case, there was none. But he's just able to CC you forever, and Gwen has the damage to chomp through a Frozen Fist Sejuani, of course.
Yeah, there's more than enough defensive item or defensive vision set up as well from Gen.G, so I would also expect them not to really overextend into that one. Still a defensive summoners available as well, Flash and Ghost both up, so even if there is a counterplay available, Chovy could teleport in. Of course, the unsealed teleport available, and wait, it's Unleashed teleport, isn't it? Unsealed is the book. As doesn't really matter for the overall game state, as we do see Gen.G being able to pick up
any free turrets.
Well, that was the gold lead for Damwon, and it's gone. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they ever had it, actually.
Oh, sorry. I mean specifically on Dogdom.
Oh, okay.
That was the only.
I see.
It was a 30 gold lead.
Ah, yes.
They were really clinging.
30
to
gold
one.
lead. Forgot about that one, as now they're going to try to trade up on the top side here. The pillar will be annoying, but the stolen needle is actually going to be more annoying here for Doran as the slow just come in with the Stylus Q, and they will trade a kill up on the top side. Gen.G did pick up an entire turret on the bottom side, but we still have Rift Herald here for Damwon Kia, and they will put it into this top turret.
And it'll make the trade a little bit more even, at the very least.
Oh no.
Not again.
Not the 1-4 power spike. I didn't know about this one. As yeah, he's not getting out of here. Really feeling the pain just every single time he moves into a lane just to farm, even relatively safely. Not in this case, but in the top lane, he's just getting punished over and over again.
Yeah, it's a rough Evaldas, as this dive definitely taking a fair amount of time. But overall, as you pointed out, it's the slow combined with the wild growth that actually sets this one up. Even the Ghost not going to be enough to save Doran, doesn't have his needles either, otherwise he might have had some Gwen gaming there. And yeah, without the turret available, it's understandable that you want to walk up to the wave, but with how Gen.G have been playing thus far, and Noguri really being on the receiving end of a ton of focus and pain, really need to just let that wave go and wait for the rest of your team to arrive, at the very least have some backup, because thus far we continue the trend of the cross-mapping from Gen.G being favorable, but crucially, Damwon Kia is keeping this lead still relatively close, now 3K at 17 minutes. It's not great, but it's against Gen.G.
It's better than average.
So you'll take it.
Yeah. Gen.G. Yeah.
Yeah, that's about as positive as we're gonna get, because then you look at the scaling and you get worried.
Yeah.
Because even though Damwon definitely doesn't have a problem by any means, it does really... Okay. I think they hit a power trough right now until the point where Zeri actually hits 3 items. Showmaker is level 16. That's when they start spiking reloading.
Oh, no. Dogdom just going to face check here. His team just ran through there, so you can understand, but just that moment for Gen.G to move in and to catch him unawares. Free kill for Gen.G, and now the Drake is live. As in goes Gen.G. Canyon is coming forward here, looking for the engage onto Ruler, as the wild growth is huge onto this Trundle. He's actually going to take out Ruler, as the TP is coming in. The polymorph is about to end, as Chovy is going in here, trying to extend this trade into their favor. But no AD carries anymore. We do have Dogdom just spawning. As will they just go ahead and take down the Drake? Looks like they will.
And overall, still a favorable trade for Gen.G, and I'm loving that you highlighted. I hope we get a replay from the vision of Damwon, because that really was a very sneaky situation that Gen.G was able to find for themselves here, where the entire team walks past.
Yeah. Just barely out of vision. And can you blame him? I mean,
yeah, you see Chovy, and at that point, but I agree, it feels so safe. Your entire team is already walking up to Dragon, so of course you're like, yeah, I got to get to them. I'm Zeri also, I have a lot of built innate safety. And then here, the value of the Trundle, as well as Bible finding nice wild growth really coming into fruition. But even at this point, like it's okay. You end up getting a 1-for-1 trade, or sorry, a 1-for-2 trade even, because of course Dogdom died at the beginning of that play, but you still lose Drake.
Yeah, and it's every Drake is going to be a big chunk in favor of Gen.G here.
Oh, it's Gwen, Azir, and Sivir with Hextech. Not even Soul.
Yeah.
With Hextech Drakes.
Just the buffs.
It's tough, Valdez, and it keeps happening.
Yeah.
Every Gen.G game.
It's important you mention that because I think there are probably some fans out there that are like, well, I mean, it's still kind of a close game. Like, isn't there a chance here for Dom1?
There is.
And yes, there absolutely is, but it's just, from our perspective, we've cast and, you know, desked all of these games, especially the ones where Gen.G just end a series in under an hour. And we're like, yeah, but we've seen this so many times, and they just always seem to win anyway. And it's still a really advantageous position for Gen.G in this game as well, and they do so well with the leads that sometimes it just feels hopeless. But let's see.
It's gotten to the point where I'm like, Dom1 looks so much better. Man, they're only 4K gold behind against Gen.G.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you know, 4.5, but still, that's
about perspective
great.
and expectations, you know.
Oh, that's a sad realization, but it's one that, especially like has been the case with us, we watch every single game, right? Like at some point, your expectations for these teams just
they begin to skyrocket.
Yeah, and you see, well, not only that, but also you see what you'd expect to happen come true so often, especially in the LCK, where leads like this, you can get rid of them as Dom1 key out, but you need to be so snappy. And who is a good target on Gen.G, I ask of you?
Lehens.
Maybe.
Shirelius, Stopwatch, Cleanse, Rakan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and that's the core issue, right? It is tough, and see enough games won by Zeri to know that's never over. You can get the poke, you can get the late game setup. Showmaker now also hitting a second item in the Banshee's Veil, going to be huge. 2 levels away from 16, which is when the Silas and Teamfighter really kicks into high gear. But that still requires you to win teamfights against Gen.G, and I think it's important to note that even though Gen.G has relied very heavily on early snowballing this split, they also got to finals last split by just being really good at team fighting.
Yeah.
So it's not like that has gone anywhere.
They've only gotten better at it exponentially. Nuggery's like, let me check the jungle first before I farm the top lane.
I need my free control wards before I walk up to the wave, Feldes.
Yeah.
And he does, actually. He actually needs to. He needs to.
He does. There's an insane amount of damage with this fed Wukong with Black Cleaver, by the way, and his own Stopwatch. And Gwen is going for the Omega Boom Boom build, which is just straight death cap right after Riftmaker.
It's just R. Yeah, it's all about the Abyssal Mask Canyon. I love it. Great. Anathema's next. Slap those cost-efficient items on. You're not getting any resources.
Yeah.
You're Trundle.
And Gen.G have been putting a lot of focus on this top river. You know, not much has happened for about the last 5 minutes since the last Drake fight, so it's just been about controlling vision on the top side, but also the bottom side. They don't have, well, actually, now that these wards are going to be cleared, they do have supreme control of vision around this area.
Oh.
DWG are trying to do the thing where you push through mid, and you use that to try to, you know, pressure through there into the Drake side, but not going too well for them as their red is getting stolen.
The Lehens TP as well. Spellbook getting a ton of value there, getting him into the enemy jungle. And yeah, with this vision setup, it's tough.
Uh-oh, on the hunt we go. They're trying to get onto the Trundle, who, yes, did get a subjugate off, by the way. Did not matter at all as 2 kills go into Ruler's hands on the Sivir with 300 CS at 23 minutes into the game. So Gen.G, they get a couple of picks and they say, well, Baron's better than just one Hextech Drake, so we'll just take that.
Ruler has IE at 20, I guess when he finished it 23 minutes into the game, Veldas.
Jovi's being outdone in
Yeah.
the PvE. Lahens?
He's fine. He's Lahens. This is
Yeah.
what he does. As Baron unceremoniously gets picked up, and that might have just been, the game.
Yeah, now
Yeah.
Gen.G are 8,000 gold ahead. Almost. It's like 7.5. And yeah, they're just going to take down this Drake as well. So they get the Baron, they get 2 picks, they get a Soul Point Hextech Drake. And now what is Ruler going to buy?
Veldas, I'm a glass half full kind of guy.
Uh-huh.
This is way better than I expected from Damwon. I
True.
thought, I thought
mean,
it was going to be like they
It's
were.
not a 20-minute stomp.
No, that's huge. As we see them just get absolutely decimated.
And that's huge.
Through Subjugate.
They're not
Right.
getting absolutely
여기 볼 생각할게.
blasted.
They're just getting normal demolished.
Yeah,
That's great.
태도 노플이야.
it really does.
가보자.
Go off our
얘들아,
expectations.
바로 가자. 용! 용 신경 쓰지 마.
Peanut's like, let's go to Baron. And then he's like, oh, Dragon. Let's not worry about Dragon. Let's take Baron.
We got Dragon anyway.
And they cut him off there, not getting too deep into the strategical mind of the mastermind that is Peanut, who is now, what is he, like 6? No, he's still 4-0. Picked up 2 assists on the last time, so just handing the kills into the pockets of the Sivir, where the gold will be used more efficiently as the game does come along. And it really does feel like, unceremoniously,
Yeah,
this game is slowly just turning into a steamroll game. Like, we're slowly getting there.
Oh, sorry, what did you say?
Oh, sorry, Steamboat.
Thank you.
Yes, I forgot.
Did you watch Jungle Cruise yet? You really should.
Jungle Cruise?
Yeah, Jungle Cruise.
That sounds
It's
like
It's not a great
one of those, like,
it's
for
not-
fun movies.
It's definitely not a great movie, but it's got The Rock, it's got Emily Blunt, it's got a steamboat. What more
I
do you
like
want?
steamboats.
Actually, I don't know if I think there's a steam. There's definitely boats
Probably
in
a
it.
steamboat.
I mean,
The name is Jungle Cruise, okay?
yeah, but I don't know the exact type of engine the boat
Is
uses.
it yeah, I was about to ask, is a cruise boat?
Well, cruise boats do, but the Jungle Cruise is not actually on a cruise boat.
Oh,
It's more of a facetious title.
I see.
Yeah.
So yeah, the boomerang, I don't know, the ricochet, that's the word. Damage was doing a lot, and Jonah Strong really wanted to zoom in on that because that's the majority of the action we're getting in this one. As 2 inhibitors will go down. And now it feels like Damwon are wishing they had the Sivir, as a really nice ultimate does come in from Showmaker, stolen from the Azir, but they're just playing front to back. Peanut gets the spin into Stopwatch, but Duckdom fights front to back. He's still alive, just barely. Ruler trying to get on in there with the heal as well. And they're just zoning them away as the health bars are getting lower and lower. Duckdom nearly, just barely is going to survive, and he is doing the zap damage. In goes Toby, doesn't hit much, but the game is going to end anyway with only 1 more kill into the pockets of Gen.G as they casually stroll down victory lane.